Hey, what is up, my tricksters? It's your friendly neighborhood Yu-Gi-Oh! Superhero back again. I'm going to be giving you tips on how to win at Yu-Gi-Oh! And some of these tips are going to be a little spicy, so I know some competitive players are not going to like what I have to say. I'm going to be straight up with you on that, especially when we get to the later portions of the video, I think. I think some of them are not going to like hearing what I have to say. But I am going to tell you these tips because I think that these things are going to help you become better at playing the game, especially if you're a casual player looking to get to play against more competitive players and not get romple stomped. You know what I mean? Like, that's because let's face it, losing sucks, but it sucks more when you're losing to stuff that's like, really, I didn't even get to get on the board. You know what I mean? So hopefully these tips will help you to actually at least get to play the game. I'm not promising you will get wins because, you know, well, you'll see. I know some, like I said in the beginning of this video, there's probably going to be some very angry competitive players. There's probably a few angry casual players because this probably won't have all of the advice they're looking for, or they're going to be like, nuh-uh. But, you know, it is what it is. I typically ride the fence between casual and competitive, so I'm what you call a competitive casual. So that is the perfect way I described it. So I think I'm the perfect person to tell you about winning in the game. So basically, before we get into that meat and potatoes of this video, I want to remind you guys where you can go to support this channel. Please check out the links in the description below. My Your Playmat link, where you can get custom sleeves with any artwork you want. You get 10% off if you use my link, and you're directly supporting the channel. So go get you some sleeves with whatever artwork you would like. I usually keep an example around my desk, but it is not at my desk at the moment, so I'll have to show you that another time. Anyway, and you can also check the links in the description and check out my my merch store. You know, we got stuff with Frank's head on it, the robot head. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I usually do skits because some of you guys haven't been here. Some of you guys are new. I got a bunch of you new guys. Welcome. And for those of you requesting skit stuff with the Ben 10 character, I will be making that soon. I'm recovering from being a little under the weather, so I'll be doing that soon, and we'll have some stuff to talk about when I get to that point. So anyway, let's get into the meat potatoes of this video, shall we? We're going to start talking about what you need to know about winning. Alright, so one of the first things you're going to want to know when it comes to winning at Yu-Gi-Oh! Is you're going to want to know what your play style is going to be. So is it going to be control, combo, or rogue? There's various styles to this game, and that stuff's going to be important. You know, you got to know exactly what you really favor. There's more combo-oriented players who plays things like, you know, like Sword Soul, which actually kind of rides the middle of the middle, but like, you know, things like Adamantipator might also be a good example. Grand Maju could also be a bit of an example on that, like Grand Maju OTK decks. These are more combo-oriented, you know, you combo the decks together. Synchro is any synchro deck that's like, oh yeah, I'm going to synchro a bunch of times. These are very combo-oriented. You got your control players. This is like your flu players. This is your Altergeist, your Subterror Guru. These kinds of players are your control player. Even Mystic Mine decks. Yeah, I know, we all hate Mystic Mine. I do too. And then you got your rogue players. These are your players who just kind of play. This is what I use an example is heroes. You know what I mean? Just, you know, these are just anything that's maybe riding the line between some of these, or is a deck that is just not widely seen but still has something interesting, or it's not quite combo, maybe not quite, you know, what do you call it? I lost it there for a second. Not quite combo, not quite control, somewhere in that kind of middle grounds. I just use heroes as an example because DPE is more of a control-y type card than a combo card in my opinion, but that's just, you know, there are other decks that are kind of ride that line right now, but we can talk about that as we go. So the next thing that you're going to want to know is you're going to want to pay attention to what kind of format are you in. Are you in a back row format where decks like Eldritch and Sky Striker and Poltergeist, you know, these kinds of decks, for example, these very control heavy decks are like Fluanderies, for example, are also like that, you know, a little bit, but they're, you know, are you in a back row heavy format where you rely a lot on the back row to do a lot of your work? Are you more a front row format? Thunder Dragons, Danger Dark World, dinosaurs? Are you more of a front row type thing, or are you somewhere in the middle like our current format is? It seems to me is or where are your decks relying on one or the other or both? We're kind of in a both format right now. You have most decks seem to be not only playing front row negation monsters and stuff, but they're also playing back row disruption cards. So it's just kind of like a little mix of both. You would think that would make the format healthier, but it doesn't really. Especially when all of those cards are the same cards. Anyway, that's the topic for another day. But yeah, basically that's the other thing you're going to know is you're going to want to understand what kind of format are you in, because these are, once you understand that, you can make the best decision for what kind of deck you want to play and, and bring to the table. The next thing you're going to want to know is your knowledge of the game. And I'm using this as an example here of, because winning at the game is going to require knowledge. You have to know how cards interact with each other. So I'm using Silent Swordsman and Mystic Mine here as an example because in the early days when Mystic Mine, earlier of Mystic Mine's existence, a lot of players like myself thought, oh, it affects the monsters in the field, not the player, so I could play stuff that doesn't care about spells and keep playing the game, which is not the case. Mystic Mine affects the player, not the monsters in the field, so Silent Swordsman here got stuck just like everything else. That's just an example. It's also an example I thought that would make sense for a lot of casual players, because if you're a casual player, you may not think necessarily to, you think, oh, well, this card says it doesn't care about traps, and that could be the end of it, but that's not always the case. So knowing that is going to be something that's also going to increase your win rate, knowing how cards interact, knowing your rulings, all of that stuff. And there's tons of tubers on here who deal with rulings, so just look for it, you'll find it. Tombox is a good one. MST.TV is a good one if you're looking for rulings. The next one that I have down here is, and this is where I'm gonna get some players getting mad at me, especially some competitives and maybe some casuals too. Here's the thing. Budget is going to matter. I know that some players don't want to hear this, but budget does make a difference. This is the reason why guys like me aren't champions, is because I don't have a lot of money to throw at the game. So I have to buy, low budget, low rarity cards and make do with what I can. Like this is the difference between having Forbidden Droplets and Forbidden Chalice in your deck. And unfortunately, I just, the player who has the bigger wallet is going to have a better chance at winning. Now, obviously, casual doesn't always mean broke. I know that that's a quote from Cali Effect, but the point that I'm getting at here is, yeah, your wallet does play a factor. You are paying to get better odds in your deck, and that's just the fact. And like I said, a lot of players don't want to acknowledge that, but that's the truth. If you have more money to throw at the game in the competitive sphere, you have a better chance of winning, especially when you combine it with all the other factors that I just talked about. When you know your play style, you know what's winning in the format, what kind of format you're in. When you combine all those factors with money, all of a sudden you're going to see your win rate go higher. Now, on things like Edo Pro, that won't make a difference, but, I'm talking about when you're playing competitively, like remote duels, assuming nobody's cheating, YCSs, regionals, your locals, that kind of thing. When you're playing real life, yeah, if you've got the expensive cards, if you can afford the Brave Engine, you've already just took your PK deck to the next level. So, yeah, money is going to matter. And here's another one, and this is the one where I think the competitive players are especially going to hate me. A lot of them might be willing to acknowledge the money thing, but the ones that are the players who are going to definitely hate me are this one. Luck. Pure dumb luck. It matters. I know some players don't want to acknowledge that. They want to think, oh no, my knowledge of the game and how much money I throw, all the factors I can control, balance that out. And yes, to a point. When you buy cards like Forbidden Droplets, you buy cards like Lightning Storm and the Dragoon package and the DPE package. You buy all these very expensive cards and engines together. Yes, you do increase your odds of winning, but luck is still one factor that is going to matter. There are going to be games where you win or lose on pure dumb luck. It doesn't matter if you have the out in your deck if you never draw it. And that's the thing. This is why competitive players are probably going to hate this video, is because they're going to see this part and go, "Nah, this is like 2% of the whole thing, guys." I'm going to be straight up with you. Like if I was to quantify this, luck is a factor. It's not as big as money. Like honestly, when you can take all this stuff, it's going to be like, I would say like 1/3 of it is what you know. No, another third of it is the money. Like a sixth of it is luck, and the other sixth is what's happening in the game. Like you combine all that stuff together, and then you can increase your win rate. Now, this is the thing that's gonna. This is, like I said, this video is probably gonna piss off some competitive players. But with my last piece of advice is for casual players who are about to enter into duels with more competitive players. This last piece of advice is probably gonna make you very angry. Okay. All right, competitive players, I know you're not going to like hearing, or casual, sorry, not competitive players. I'm talking to the casuals right now. All right, this is the last piece of advice I'm going to give you. And I know you're not going to like hearing it because I don't like hearing it. As somebody who kind of rides that line between casual and competitive, if you're a casual player and you're tired of losing to competitive players, especially the hyper competitive ones who are kind of douchey, you know who I'm talking about. You know exactly the kind of person I'm talking about. Look, I don't like that guy either, but here's the thing. This is going to be the #1 piece of advice that I can give you that's going to help you win more games. Yu-Gi-Oh! Isn't fair. It's just not a fair game. The deck is stacked against you if you are a casual player who wants to play your Crystal Beast deck and you want to beat the crap out of the meta. You know, I'm sorry. The deck is stacked against you. Straight up. If your favorite card is you want to play like Flame Swordsman Turbo or something, you know, I don't know. The point that I'm getting at here is, yeah, you need to acknowledge that Yu-Gi-Oh! Isn't fair. And what's going to really increase your win rate is figuring out of the cards that you have, what is the unfair thing you can do. And I'm going to give you an example, right? I play dinosaurs. So what's one of the unfair things that dinosaurs do? We have a big dinosaur that can just punch everything and has a lot of attack points. That's the unfair thing that dinosaurs do. Find your unfair thing and find a way to do it quickly. That's how you start to win. Honestly, that's the last piece of advice I can give you, is you have to acknowledge that the Yu-Gi-Oh game is not fair. As much as I want it to be. I really do. I would love if the game just became fair tomorrow, like boom, now it's all about it's all about this up here and knowing how to work with what you're given. I would love it if that was the case. You know what I mean? You just shuffle the deck, you draw the cards, and both players have an equal chance of winning 50% all the time. But the truth of the matter, and the deciding factor is like, you know, your decision making at that point. But that's just not how this game works. This game favors the people who have more money and who are more lucky. So, you know what I mean? And those two factors combined are going to improve your odds. So, like I said, you want to win more games, especially if you're a low budget or maybe you're a hardcore casual, you want to win more games. This is what I'm going to tell you. Find your unfair thing and find your way to make your unfair thing happen faster. This is, and I know that sucks, but here's another thing this might help you in the long run too. Because the more unfair stuff the casual players can come up with to you know, annoy the competitive players, guess what? Konami will start taking out those unfair things, especially if they stop making the money. So go find the unfair thing. Go do it. That's the best advice I can tell you, is go find the unfair thing. And when you find the unfair thing, streamline it. And you will see a higher win rate. You will see you're probably going to get cussed out at your locals. I'll straight up be honest with you. You probably are. Especially if your unfair thing is like in Crystal Beast or something. Because, you know, the second you find a way to make Crystal Beast beat the crap out of, like, you know, Phantom Knight DPE or Sword Soul or Fluanderies, you're gonna get cussed at. I'm just going to tell you that right now. But, you know, that could be half the fun. I don't know. Anyway, guys. I hope this video was very informative for a lot of you guys, especially for more casual players wanting to learn how to be more competitive. Like I said, you got to find your unfair thing. Like in my last video with Cyberdarks, right? What's the unfair thing? You play the Cyberdark End Dragon, it's like, oh, I'm unaffected by 99% of the things in the game. You know, it's kaiju or bust. No kaiju? Okay, cool. I win. You know what I mean? Find your unfair thing. Find a way to do it quickly. Anyway, guys, I hope that you found this video informative and helpful. If you're new to the Ben 10,000 yugioh channel, please subscribe. I am trying to get to that 10,000 mark as fast as I possibly can, and I know you guys can help me get there, so do me a solid. Tell me what you want to see in future videos in the comments below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and share with all of your friends. And welcome to my Tricksters gang, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace!